All right, here we go. This is our last chapter. And I have to say that what makes this course stand out is that it's one of the early ones adapting its pace and method to teach coding alongside assisted coding tools. So rather than focusing solely on how to use AI, the primary goal is to teach you the core principles of coding. And then when you work on this hands-on project, you will build a product together. This blend of learning the principles and using GenAI to assist is what makes this course very unique. So now it's your turn to put everything you've learned into action, and please go and use all the power of GenAI to add a new feature to our existing product. So in this chapter, what you're going to create is a chat interface for mood support. And in order to do that, you need to sign up to ChatGPT or any other GenAI tools and get it to help you create the chat interface and integrate it into the application. And don't forget, to use ChatGPT, you need to get the API key. So first things first, you need to sign up for ChatGPT. To get started, visit this link and complete the registration process. And also follow the instruction provided to finish signing up. Once registered, you'll have access to ChatGPT and can start using it to assist with your project. Super easy. Now you can leverage ChatGPT to guide you through the process of creating a chat interface. Here's how you might frame your request. These are only tips, only suggestions, and I'm just going to leave the details to you. But the example conversation could be, you could ask for guidance by saying, I need help creating a chat interface for my mobile app or for my application. Can you guide me through the process? And then ChatGPT will likely provide a structured outline for creating the chat interface, including the steps such as choosing a framework, setting up the project, designing UI components, managing state, and integrating a back-end service. So these are the things that you might get. But I'm just going to give you some tips. This is so important. When you do prompting, be specific in your queries. Instead of a broad question like, how do I create a chat interface like you saw before, ask for detailed instructions tailored to your chosen technology. If needed, follow up with more detailed questions to get precise guidance. Exactly say that this is a framework that I'm using. React provides some of your code snippet. If there's no safety or security problem, and then with giving most of the details, then you get a more structured way. So as you develop, build and test components incrementally and seek further advice as you progress. So always test every piece because sometimes there's a lot of errors. And let's go to this slide. So for example, this is a code snippet that I got from ChatGPT. And this example code snippet from ChatGPT creates a basic chat interface using React Native. It defines a chat interface component and maintains a list of messages and the current input text as state variables. Look at here. So it's got the state variables, you've seen all of that. And because you have seen all these principles, so it's easier to interpret what ChatGPT is giving you, and it's easier to test it. And the send message function here, you can see that we've got a send message function apart from the state variables. And this function seems to update the list of new messages when the send button is pressed and clears the input field. The UI includes a flat list to display messages and a text input for typing and a button to send the message. So we've got the flat list, text input, and button. This is a suggestion. You just need to test all of this with ChatGPT. And it's up to you, really, to test this, to ensure it works correctly and integrates seamlessly into your application. Once your chat interface is ready, you can use ChatGPT again to integrate it. You can have a conversation like this. I created this, what are the steps? And gives you like this structured instruction. And then, and it even gives you the code snippet. So disclaimer, this is not, the code snippet is not tested. It's up to you to test it. But this code sets up navigation in React, a native application using React navigation. So you can see this here in your application. You've got the navigation. It imports the required modules, creates a stack navigator, and defines two screens, home and chat interface. So we've got the home and chat interface. And the app component uses a navigation container to manage navigation. It allows users to switch between these screens. Make sure to test it to verify the navigation works correctly. And the other thing that you have to bear in mind is getting your API key, because we are using ChatGPT in two different ways. First, we're using ChatGPT here to get assistance while we're coding. And second, we are using the NLP capabilities of ChatGPT in our application to create this chatbot to provide support for the users. So log into your OpenAI account. You have already opened an account, and go to this API section, which is, if you look up OpenAPI API keys, then you go to this section, and then you can create a new secret key. After creating the new secret key, please securely copy and store the API key so you can use it in your application. So go back to this slide. And this is the example conversation about how to integrate this ChatGPT's NLP capabilities into our application. And this is just install Axios. So it seems like we'll have to use NLP install Axios to make HTTP requests. And then it's just follow this code snippet. So in the code snippet, first you do the import and you set up your API key and API URL. Then you've got this function. And the get ChatGPT response function sends a post request to the API with a prompt and returns the response from ChatGPT. So you can see that this is a post, and you've seen post before. An API key goes to authorization in the headers, and prompt is whatever prompt that you want to enter, like about the mood support. And then we've got the try and catch that you've seen before to catch any errors. And then in this slide, you can see how to call this function with the sample prompt and log the response. So we log the response, and then we've got a prompt here. What is the capital of brands? I mean, this is not a proper prompt for this particular one. Maybe something to do with the mood support, but this is how you use a prompt based on what you got from ChatGPT. As I said, it's important to test. It's crucial. And when you do your testing, make sure that you do it in an isolated way. First, test the chat feature, then test the integration. And if you run into any integration issues, then you can have this conversation with ChatGPT saying, actually, my chat interface works, but after integrating into my application, then we've got this problem, and then just get some advice. So to sum up, have a solid understanding of the frameworks and libraries you're using. Don't do some blind prompt engineering. And when you do the prompt engineering, please, to get accurate answers, always test incrementally. And then always just reply back to ChatGPT if there is any problems. When you do it incrementally, it's a lot faster than getting the whole lot and then trying to test the whole thing. Because this is the end of this chapter, I hope you can develop this chat interface and integrate it into the application. By the end of finishing this project, then you've got the whole Mood Tracker application with the chatbot, which you develop yourself. So that was a very hands-on course for you. And I'm going to welcome you to the next courses coming.